Hey, how's it going? So I've got this baseball game that I've been programming. I've gotten just a little bit farther than where I'd previously been, right? So I've drawn 5 of these figures for the batter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and animate the batter the same way that I've animated this pitcher. But right now, otherwise, everything does everything exactly the same way. So next thing we want to do is animate the batter. Then after we've animated the batter, we're going to want to only have the hit work if the batter's in the right part of his swing. Otherwise, we're going to want the pitch to pass off and be a strike. So we'll look at that here, right? Let's see, how can I actually do that? That's a good question, right? So really, I just need to do the same thing that I did with the pitcher, right? Which is in the pitcher, depending on the state of the pitcher, we drew a different frame, and I happen to have exactly 5 frames. So I'm going to do something that usually says that you need to think about how you're programming, and I'm just going to go ahead and add in all this stuff for the pitcher here, right? So actually, we don't need the X0, Y0. That was for the box. So all we need is the X, Y, and the HW, or the H. So we don't even need the W anymore, right? We just need the height, which no longer needs to be an integer. So we'll just change all of these things here. Probably I should have just changed the variable name, obviously, but already started. If I just change the variable name, that's a lot easier, right? So I could just make another variable here, center x comma y, and center equals x, y, and that'll do everything that I need from that. The only thing is right now the guy doesn't have a state. So you remember I had him in the last frame after the guy had done his job. Let's go ahead and start with the self.state equals 0. And so if I've done everything right, then see, he's waiting for the pitch. Nothing's going to happen when I press the button, but he is waiting for the pitch. I just have to sort of animate the batter. Animating the batter, we want to do the same way that we did with the pitcher. So let's go ahead and see what we did with the pitcher. When we did the pitcher in here, we had an update function, and the update had some things here. It had an interval, a whole bunch of things I added in there, right? So I had some sort of interval, a delay, and checking to see if anything's waiting or swinging or whatever was being used. So we just need to change the state right now, I think, right? So let's go ahead and just copy that part, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. What is self? That was probably really important. Well, we'll figure out later on how important it was. So we want to do something here in the update for that, right? So what we're going to do is let's only do this if the self is swinging instead of not self waiting. We'll do self swinging. That's the thing that's telling us that we're actively swinging. And when we get to the 4th state here, then self swinging is false. All right. So we can do just elif, and then if self.state state. Now we can just use that if there. We can use this as the if. And here use the elif to change the state. So self.state will update when I do that. And the interval will go to 0. And we don't need to change the state here. I just did that there, so we don't need another method to do that. But we need an interval and a frame time, right? So we have to keep track of the interval. Right, so so every time we do something, the self.interval plus equals interval that we're sending here. And then we need to make sure that there's a self.interval already. Self.interval always resets to 0, and we need a frame time. Self.frame time, and let's go with 100. Let's see if I've got enough going on there. No, I don't. 96. Elif. Oh, else. Duh. Okay, so there we go. And let's see what happens. Pitches. And nothing happens with the state. So the state is not doing what I thought it should do. So what's going on here? We should be calling this in the engine, right? Batter update interval. There we go. And we should therefore not have any problems there. So the batter comes in, it increases self.interval. We're not resetting anything at any spot right now. If the interval increases past the frame time, which is, the frame time should be in seconds, and I used milliseconds. So let's see what happens now. So 100 seconds is a long time. Alright, so now it does, and it does reset. And you see we've got something that looks not exactly right, but looks pretty reasonable. So I mean we can go with that. I think that you'll notice that he just starts swinging, and that's the issue that we're trying to break. And I don't know what that was. So we'll need to just get this to the point where it will only send the ball back if the batter's in the exact correct state. We've got a couple of minutes here, so we might be able to do that. So let's see, does it say hits? Okay, so we do have this thing. So does it hit it? So position thing get position, self-half width blah blah, return in X. So it'll do true if it is in X. We also wanted to do true if you're in the right part of the swing. So we have to start with swing equals false, and then say if self.state equals 2, which is that middle one. Or we could do something else. We could do something like, we could use multiple of them, but let's just try that. Swing equals true. Okay, so we return the in X and swing. So if it's the right part of the swing and it's in the little square there, we're going to be good. So now you see if I swing late, it doesn't return. Let's see if I can actually get it to return while I'm swinging. So I can probably improve this, but this is sufficient for right now, I think. So that's looking okay. Maybe there needs to be some other stuff. We'll worry about that other stuff later on when we actually need to worry about directions and things like that. We'll rather than just being in 2. When is this in 2? We'll look at anywhere from 1 to 2. So anywhere in those 2 frames, we'll try to calculate an angle or something like that for the ball to be hit at, based on where he is in his swing. We'll do that when we get to 2 dimensions. We're in 1 dimension right now. We're pretty happy, and I think that's looking all right. So I don't think there's any reason to hold you up from this, and just enjoy the next couple of days, and I'll try to get something up early next week about whatever it is I think is up next, which I think what I'll do is I'll add some forces, and the only force I can use here is going to be the drag force in the air. So we'll use the drag force in the air and try to slow the ball down while it's moving. I'm not sure exactly how much that happens in baseball. I've got some books, and I'll look that up, and we'll sort of try to calculate things to about the right order of magnitude. All right, so I'll see you soon. Have fun.